from Fukuoka Prefecture, Japan. Tweet, not tweet, make a post. Just posted on X. Yes. So first thing first, I was so surprised to see this news. I'm surprised, not too surprised, but Sarah Carter. Oh, I'm so happy for her. She says it is truly an honor to serve President Donald J. Trump and be part of the administration committed to putting America first. And she is going to serve as the next Director of the Office of National Drug Control Policy. Cool. So weird, though. Kind of weird that, I met Sarah Carter when she came to Japan, I believe in 2019 for CPAC Japan, which was held in Tokyo. And of course, my husband and I were there. We met her. And then the following month, or after 2 months or so, like in October, I believe, we met again in South Korea. So we were like, ah! So, yeah. Wow. And I've been on her show twice, I think. She kindly, had me as her guest, and I was honored. But yeah, wow. And now, like, Trump writes her name, appoints her to be the drug czar. Is it called czar? Yeah. It's so interesting that the world is so small, for me. So that's cool. Anyway, Yoyoko, hello. Thanks for coming. So early. I know. Guess what time I woke up today? I woke up early, super early. Do you know when I woke up today? Take a guess. My husband has to. My husband is like, I don't know. I don't even know. I woke up at 4 a.m. Kind of close, 5:30. I don't know what happened to me, but I'm determined to be healthy, to be in a good health, because I'm like really fed up with being on meds all the time. Especially this one kind that I've been using. Like I take medicine and also I have to put it in my ass, and yeah. And that one was making me kind of hormonal, and because it's steroid, and I had been on that for a while, and I realized that that's why my face was so puffy, like so, and so on. And so now it's been like my 4th day. I get up, I go for a walk now. I kind of did that at the beginning of this year, but then it started to snow, and then I gave up. But now I'm back. This morning too, I woke up early, and then I, walked my husband in the park. I get to walk too. So anyway, how are you all? Yeah, is your husband cooking things? Sounds like food being made. He was washing some dishes. He does that for me. Good morning, Yoko. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Czar. I liked your video from the park. Those trees were so nice. Thank you. Yes, it's so beautiful. What's weird about Japan is that, like, this is so-called hanami season. Hana means flower, but in this case means cherry blossoms. So hanami. And mi is to see. So like, cherry blossom viewing party. We just go see cherry blossoms, and it's been our culture for a long time. But like if you see the news like in Tokyo or something, it's super crowded, but limited. The number of the cherry blossom trees is limited. So everyone goes to the same place. It's packed. You can't get a good seat. Like you wanna sit in like right below the trees, but you can't get the seats because there's too many people. But over here in Fukuoka, like where I live, there's a busy park in the city too. But here is a big park. There are plenty of play space and nobody was there, you know. And today though, it's Sunday and it's the weather is nice. So I bet that there are many people, but not as crowded as Tokyo and so on. So Tokyo or any like urban places, you know, like really like big cities are not. It's good to visit or to work in, but not really to live. Like you get to enjoy your life, like Japanese life in, you know, cities like mine. Oh, こんばんは。ありがとう、super chat. Yoo-hoo! Thank you. Thank you so much. Gets me going. The more super chat I get, the more energetic I get. Just how I am. Good that you're getting healthier. Yeah, so I'm gonna, you know, basically, I'm gonna like switch the time that I was allotting for gaming to healthy stuff. Like instead of gaming, I'm gonna go walk. That should work, right? I should document myself. I saw a lot of people in other Hanami videos this year. Yeah, right? Did you see the earthquake in Myanmar? Yes, I did. I feel horrible. And I can't believe that it happened in Myanmar, right? And then somehow Thailand shook. How's that possible? By the way, this is today's newspaper. Glad you asked. I know that it's mirrored. I'm sorry. I'm on my iPad and I'm using an in camera. So, you know, give me super chat so that I can afford a new computer. I have a laptop, but the fan, I need to get it cleaned or something because it keeps cutting the YouTube. Anyway, Myanmar, 1,000 people over, like the death count over 1,000. It says it's horrible. More than 2,367 people injured and so on. In Thailand, it's 10 people. Man, it is. I saw before I saw the news, of course, I saw the footage from the locals, you know, they were posting videos online, like on X, and I got to see that before the news. So I was watching that, you know, my phone, and then the TV talked about it. So I was like, whoa, you know, it was weird. But anyway, the tall buildings. I saw the short clip of like this couple floating, you know, in the pool, the rooftop, and then it shakes and the water goes like this way. So I was like looking at it, I was so scared because like the worst case scenario is that it's good that they had the little wall, you know, as a stopper. But like I know that there are pools like is it called like eternity pool or something like that? Like that they don't have that wall thing. So what if there comes an earthquake and then like the water goes around and you get thrown away? Like it is so horrible. And it was being slippery too because the water goes to the floor and you want to go like get up, you know, get outside of the pool, but you get slippery. Of course, you're panicking as well. I don't want to even imagine that. Like I will feel like I'm gonna die or something. Yeah, but it's a big news as you can tell. So like our TV has been covering that and also explaining what really happened because it's bizarre to see like two different locations, you know, like one actual earthquake place and then far away. That distance is like from here to Tokyo or something. It doesn't happen, at least here. But like I've been hearing experts talking about it. Like they were talking about the long shake and how tall buildings get affected, and even though it's far away, it does happen, or something like that. Um, but yeah, but looking at that though, I realized like it's the magnitude. It says that it's 7.7. It's big, but what happens in Japan is that we do have like huge earthquakes sometimes, but our buildings do not collapse like that because we have very, very strict standards when we build like not only tall buildings, like buildings in general. We have standards to be able to bear in the shakes, you know. But I guess that they didn't expect earthquakes to happen in the region. But I have a feeling that though that Japan can help with, you know, like building new things now, of course. But that's like for the next phase. This phase, there are still people missing. I heard though, like there was an article in the newspaper today, like here, talking about how China and Russia are sending people to rescue and so on. Do not let China build your buildings. It will just break, you know, fall, like collapse. Like, see, I know it's mirrored, but let me show you to see like China, Russia, close support, like showing, exaggerating, or like showing that support, dispatching the teams to the place, affected area, and so on. Of course, like this kind of warm gesture is great, but they just want to take those, you know, it's like the whole world is trying to get like smaller countries on their side. So, yeah. And first thing first, though, I believe that those buildings, like tall buildings, were developed by a Chinese company, but China is, I don't know if it's true, but I saw a post saying that they are trying to erase that information from their information source or something like that. But anyway, oh, super chat, thank you. Hello, you are early. Yes. My husband was laughing at me earlier because right as soon as I started this stream, my husband was like, this is actually the original time. This is a time that I used to hold these live streams, and I'm doing better. Anyway, yeah. Let's see. What do you think of the proposed changes to the Japanese constitution by Jumishito? We don't talk about it, so I don't actually know. Right now, what we keep talking about is the money issue. And also, yesterday, there was a ceremony between Japan and the U.S. It's on the front page. Where is it? So this is the earthquake. And here you see our Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's face there. This is you can see the number 80. It's been 80 years since the Battle of Iwo Jima. Horrible, horrible history, but yeah, because like both sides, we both had a lot of sacrifice, and it's really horrifying when you look into the history, like how the battle went. So hot, you know, like our Japanese soldiers were, kind of hiding, you know, waiting for American soldiers in the cave, like they dug the ground and so on, and it's I really don't like talking about it. That's all I'm gonna say. But like it's amazing that as for the World War II, both Japan and America come together. We have a ceremony together to, make sure that we are now on the same side, and it means a lot to us Japanese. So much so that whenever I hear, Americans talk about, Fox News anchors often make mistakes, trying to showcase like, I don't know, like, oh, Japan did this and that and blah blah blah. Like I'm like, please, like, just leave Japan, out of whatever you're talking about. But this one, hey, from Japan-U.S. alliance, they staged that, so that's good. There's a picture of Hegseth and our defense minister, Gen Nakatani. He is really such a good guy. He has come to our event as well, like anti-China event. So, yeah. And so they had a ceremony because it's the 80th anniversary since the war. Since the Battle of Iwo Jima. And yeah. And both sides talked about our alliance. Yeah. I think it's the first time that like a minister level, came together. Yeah, the both sides, the minister, like a state of defense. Wait, I was looking at this Asahi article earlier. It talks about that. Let me read for you. Reading time. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba on March 29 went to the Pacific island of Iwoto, better known to the world as Iwo Jima, to honor the thousands of soldiers who perished there in fierce fighting 80 years ago. He was joined by U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Gen Nakatani, the Japanese defense minister. It is the first time for the defense ministers of both countries to commemorate the 1945 battle together. Yes. Oh, they forgot the period. I don't see the dot at the end of the sentence. Like, dude, together, then I don't see the dot, but the visit, like, it's the next sentence. I gotta proofread for them. But anyway, yeah, Iwo Jima. I've seen the movie too. I went to see that with my dad back then. I was still single back then, so I used to hang out with my dad. Yeah, my dad is funny because my father likes history. He's such a patriot. He's such a conservative. I wouldn't listen to him when I was a teenager. Like I just simply did not understand history. So like whenever he started, my dad, whenever he started talking about the World War II, I'm like, stop it. Like I don't want to hear about war again, blah, blah, blah. But today I understand him though. But like when I was like kind of adulting up, he took me to the movie theater. We watched it together. It was so shocking. Like war movies nowadays are really, really well made. Like it feels like you're there. I love you, Yokos. Yay, thank you. Infinity Pool. I was saying eternity. Infinity Pool. Yeah. Let's see. Chinese buildings are always collapsing. Like Chinese, I wonder what it was. Like there was some, I think that was train accident. like their bullet train or normal train, I don't know, but like there was some kind of accident in China like years ago though, and then they just buried the train, like train cars into the ground while people were still there. Like it's a thing that Japanese people often talk about. But sorry if I'm wrong. Like I don't remember the occasion and so on. Iwo Jima was so sad for both sides. Yeah, that picture though. Even though Japan lost, and it's I'm supposed like I do feel, the Japanese side of emotions, but at the same time, that picture of the flag, national flag of America, like it's so well taken. I hear that they redid that just to take the photo, but it's great for like political reasons, Like I don't judge that. Man, America. Yoko was a bad girl. Yeah. A war like the World War II must never happen again. 将来の戦争を防ぐことで双方の兵士の犠牲を立てましょう。そうですね。そうですね。Yeah. Both sides fought very hard on Iwo Jima. It was the toughest battle of the Eastern campaign. I think so too. It's so like Japanese people, at least on August 15, that's when, like that's the day we think as the end of the World War II for us, even though it's not accurate, but that's the day that our Tenno, our emperor's voice was broadcasted over the radio, like to say that we are surrendering, and that's the day, like August 15th is the day for us that the war ended, even though Soviet Union still came down to Japan and killed people. But anyway, so on that day, we have a ceremony and so on. And on that day, often Japanese people would have like a cup or glass of water to the direction of Iwo Jima, because those soldiers were so thirsty, and even if they had water, like where they were, it's so heated that it would turn into hot water. So like they were so thirsty. So we do that. Yeah. It's a miracle. I believe that it's a miracle, all the people fought so hard in the past that America decided to not colonize and just occupy. And then, we build a trust together. And do you think that would happen in other countries? Because often Japan-U.S. alliance is used as an example to the world today. But I don't know if that's like what we have is miracle, I feel. I don't know. Oh, super chat, thank you. There were very fine people on both sides of the war too. Yeah, the problem of the World War II for Japan is that it's the elites that died in the war, Like for example, you talk about kamikaze, but those pilots were the best of the best back then. And those people just... So we lost all the good ones, So like, it doesn't only affect the war, but also the aftermath, Like we got to stay as Japan, but still like we had to reconstruct a lot, right? Politically and economically. And also like reconstruction itself, like physically, right? And I bet that if those people were alive, things would have been different. But at the same time, because of that sacrifice, we have what we have today. and there's no ifs or whatsoever, you know, like it's so hard to talk about it. So yeah, like it's kamikaze and so on. That sort of sacrifice in general is a difficult debate in Japan because some people insist that, you know, it's because of the sacrifice and like how hard soldiers back then fought that brought us to where we are today. At the same time, others would say like, oh, if that didn't happen, and then things would have been different. The strategy was bad, and blah blah blah. Even though we had a limited amount of resources and so on. So I can't keep like I can't process. I need to become an AI to be able to process that sort of like so much information, so many perspectives. But yeah, I'm just rambling. Sorry. By the way, I've been up for hours, so like I'm more tired than usual. Just so you know, so that's why I'm a little slow. Sorry for that. Hui. Because I walked. We didn't jog. We just walked, but we walked in really really fast. So I'm tired. Japan and U.S. are very close now. They often do military maneuvers together. Yeah, we have joint exercises often. Yes, we like yeah, our alliance is amazing. I'm truly thankful for America. You know, and recently too. I feel the presence of the UK and also France, even Germany and Italy. Like I feel a lot closer with Europe as well because the time is changing. It's all Trump effect, in my opinion. You know, whether you like it or not, like Trump is actually pushing the world to fall into the right place. I feel, you know, as a result, like politics is all about what happens as a result. I really hope that America doesn't disappear from the global stage. You know, I really hope that America keeps the influence, like the power in the international society. You know, but yeah, at the same time, I really hope that yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that I hope that Trump doesn't get too friendly with Putin and Xi Jinping. They'll be sad. Speaking of which, though, they were talking about McDonald's. It's an ad, McDonald's ad. You see the uniform, the burger. No, this is not what I wanted to talk about. I just saw this. Convenient and comfortable, future-oriented McDonald's. Anyway, I wanted to talk about, where was it? Which country was that? I wanted to talk about some country. Which one? Myanmar? I forget. Like there was some country I had to talk about. Oh, Brazil. Where's the article about Brazil? I saw an article about Brazil. あ、ここだ。Let's see. Wait for me. Oh, super chat! Super chat. Thank you so much. Japan is just like everyone else, only more so. Don Carly said that, I think. Really? Yeah. Only more so. What does he mean by that? Let's see. See, like Japan talking about money issue, like this type of stuff is everywhere. This is the editorial from today on Yomiuri Shimbun, and they talk about Japan and Brazil, and they introduce the population of Japanese Brazilians, like Japanese people in Brazil. The number is 2.7 million. 2.7 million Japanese people in Brazil. But Brazil is part of BRICS. And I've had the impression that even though like there are so many like Japanese people in Brazil, at the same time, you know, because of BRICS and so on, I had the impression that they have gone to the other side, you know, our enemy side. But I realized, like after reading this article, you know, like how Japan and the Lula, I don't know the pronunciation, the president right now of Brazil, Lula. What a cute name, Lula. I hope Luis, blah blah blah, Lula. It's both L. Lula da Lula da Silva. Living the vida loca. I'm such a racist. Sorry. It just rhymed, you know. Luis Inacio Lula da Silva. Lula. So he came to Japan, you know. So and then so we had a really great meeting, and so like like Japan and Brazil just confirmed a lot of things, like to have a like an office level dialogue or of foreign relations and defense and so on, and to maintain the world like WTO and so on. So just confirming that, like confirm to continue what we've had until now. So yeah, and then it pointed out how Brazil does diplomacy. Like they have the article says that Brazil has this unique, balanced diplomacy. And I realized like, oh, that's like India. India too, like they are part of, India is part of the free and open Indo-Pacific strategy, you know, and they are on our side for the most of like national security wise, but economically speaking, they often go to the side of Russia or China, and so like we can't really tell like where India stands, but because of that, they become a bridge sometimes for negotiations and so on. And I wasn't really paying attention to Brazil, but like because of the visit of the president, I realized like, oh, Brazil is kind of like that. But the funny thing about Brazil is that Brazil is the totally opposite, like location-wise, like geography-wise. Like the farthest. What's the English term? On the like totally like exactly the opposite side of the earth. So that's why Prime Minister Abe had to dug a hole to have a pipe and become a Mario and go to Rio. Or was it Rio? Olympics. Abe Mario. Anyway, hey Yoko, hello, thanks for coming. Oh, Superchat, thank you. Again, I think it's how Japanese take things to extreme. Oh, do we? Do we? Yoko, can you take us to the McDonald's and do the live stream there? I wish I could. In Japan, you're not supposed to live stream inside restaurants usually. Like there are people that ignore the rules, but I'm a good person. So I always listen to the rules and so on. So yeah, usually what happens is that at the entrance and so on, they have some sign like, oh, please do not record any video or, do not take photos and so on. So I wish I could do that though. Yeah. At least I could go by and, eat. There's McDonald's near, like there's a big park in my neighborhood, like walking distance, and then a McDonald's. If I walk a little bit more, then there's McDonald's. I could go grab something there and go to the park and eat McDonald's there and live stream. That is not impossible. I could do that. Lots of Japanese Brazilians. Yeah, it's kind of weird when I personally when I look at Japanese but foreigner. It's very interesting because it doesn't really happen. That's over 1%. Wow. There is a large enclave of Japanese in Brazil. You could fly there and not feel homesick, I bet. Really? Wow. Telling a joke about the pronunciation of a name because it's weird in your language isn't racist. Okay, that's good. India does its own thing. You can't really blame them since they are neighbors with China. Yeah, exactly. And Russia. Most of U.S. allies aren't even in the same continent. Yeah, that's so true. Hemisphere. Yeah. Do the Japanese rebuild houses frequently to update earthquake standards? I think it's encouraged. I don't know the mandatory and so on, but like if you at least like if you build new things now, of course you have to, build according to the standards today. But I don't know if they take it down for that. But voluntarily though, like they renew things often in Japan. So like I've talked about this many times before, but like I live in Fukuoka prefecture, and in the Fukuoka city, like the biggest city in my prefecture, they have this project called Tenjin, the name of the place, Tenjin Big Bang. And they took down the buildings because they were getting older and older. So they just took it down and they are rebuilding everything. And so like Fukuoka city is doing well because like the economic field people and politicians, they communicate well. So they do things together all the time. So it's really nice. Like it's a good place to live in. Not for me though. I get tired when there are so many people around. Burger Chef. Never heard of that. I wanna try In-N-Out. Is it called In-N-Out? Like my online friends have told me before. Does Japan still get attacked by Godzilla? I'm concerned. We don't get attacked by Godzilla, but there's a giant dragon right next to Japan called China. We need to be a dragon slayer, China, man. China and Russia. They sometimes go on a tour, like a little date. China and Russia, they tour around Japan together. They collect information and also they want to intimidate us, so they do that. Yeah. Did you like Trump's choice for ambassador to Japan? I'm not really sure of what happened as a result. Not here, yeah, right? I don't know why we are not talking about that. Why? アメリカ駐日大使 What's happening though? Like he isn't here yet, right? This is the guy? This? Yeah. I still have to learn. I don't know much at all. In and out. Cool. Never been there? Yeah. They opened one here and an immediate traffic jam happened. Oh, 4 hour wait for a burger. You could just go to a grocery store and make by your own. Okay, here you have a Canadian new leader with Trump talking about their relationship. There's no much though here, but that's good that they're doing well after Trudeau. Oh, super chat, thank you so much. Hey, Yoga, I always try to think of questions I can ask during your live streams, but lately I've been having trouble. So for now, have a good day and live stream. I'm going to bed. Thank you so much. I know the feeling. I do the same with others, you know. Like I watch a few Japanese channels, and sometimes I think about sending some super chat or like, but because I can't really afford it, like I don't have the luxury, you know, right now. So maybe at least like, you know, I want to write something, but then I don't know the right thing to write. So I know what you mean. But thank you though. Thank you so much. You going to bed though? Kind of early. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What does Japan mean to you, Yoko? Home. It's my home that I'm proud of. I don't know. What is America to you, or what, wherever you guys are from? What is your country? Does your country mean to you? For me, I don't know. I'm so happy that, like, you know, I was so lucky to be born here, you know. Like it's like we happen to be in war, like at this time at least, like somewhat peaceful country with a like really really long history. We have our rules and so on. Like we have a functioning society, and there are amazing people in the past to admire and look up to, and yeah, the values here, I really respect the values here, even though I'm a little bit Americanized. You know, sometimes it's a little tough to live here, even though I'm from here. That can happen anywhere, anyway, right? Yeah, but it's interesting how like your home is important for you. Like I was born and raised here in Fukuoka, and people have asked me many times before, like, oh, like where in America did you live? And I'm like, I can't leave this place, you know. I lived in Osaka for 4 years for university. I couldn't. Osaka was not for me. And also I visit Tokyo often, but I don't think I could ever live in Tokyo. Like I want to work there, but I don't want to live there. And I'm just home. I get homesick, you know. I remember when I went to India and Hong Kong, especially. South Korea is so close that I didn't really feel that much of that. But like when I flew to Hong Kong, and then Taiwan is like I felt close somehow. It's like I didn't feel that too, but some Hong Kong and India was so different. America too. That I'm like, right after I got there, I'm like, I need to go back. Like, I need to go back. Like, danger, 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 you know? It's so weird. And I realized like how much I love my home. You know, my place is the best thing ever. And next to that, my prefecture is important. And then my country is important. But I think that it's like strongly, firmly attached to my identity and also my home, the sense of home. So when I talk about Japan, I'm speaking from like my home standpoint often. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but why do Asians, Japanese ignore Eastern Christianity, Orthodox, but only think of Western Christianity, Protestantism, and Catholicism? Does it have to do with anti-Russia Eastern sentiment? I don't think so. It just didn't spread here. So, like, even I don't have enough knowledge to talk about Christianity. So, yeah, I guess it just didn't spread. Catholic people, I believe they've been visiting Japan as missionaries. I don't know about Orthodox types. Yeah. And Protestants, I don't know. I don't actually know, sorry. I wish I knew. Yeah. There are a lot of churches though. But the only church that I've been to, and not really only because there are historical places as well, you know, those churches that were affected by the atomic bombs and so on. I've been there, but regularly, like in the city, in another city, there's one church, and it turned out to be a Mormon church, so it's a little different, I guess. Do you still love Trump after he got close to Russia? I still like. I view Trump the same way that I see him, but I do feel the struggles due to the standpoints, because like I fully understand what Trump is trying to do. You know, like putting America first and do what it takes to get what he wants. Like he's so determined. The first time, like before I came here, I listened to the interview of Susan Wiles, you know, and it was a good interview. So you guys should check it out if you haven't. Somehow, like it was not on the topic, but like I got the sense like how like she was talking about how like, you know, Trump is different, like now he's like he wants to make things happen, right? And I like listening to her, I realized that the first term he probably like he was new to political field, and also he still like those who were around him would tell him, like neocon type of people would tell him like, oh, let's do that, like it's a good idea, but let's do that in the second term, and just push his ideas away, right? And this today it's the second term, and he doesn't have the next anymore, right? So everything he has to do it in this term, and there are so many things that he wants to fix. So I bet the determination is different, and I don't think that he actually cares about, you know, like the diplomatic premises and so on. Even though my country, of course, we have our own standards and the foundation that we need to protect and so on. And also Russia, for example, of course, like historically, Russia has been our enemy. And also, if you look at the poll taken by our cabinet, like the super duper majority of Japanese people, like probably like 96 or so, 95, 96 of people, we don't like, I don't know in what way it was asked. It was probably like 5% or so, a max, are pro Russia. So we don't like, we can't be pro Russia, right? So of course we have that sort of differences, but like we can't judge the administration with only one issue, right? There are so many issues, and as for Japan, at least my understanding is that the biggest threat right now for Japan is China, and Trump is really, really strongly against the, China's threats, like hegemony wise. I know that he wants to do business and so on, so there are risks, but at least I know that he wants to be number one in the world, and that is something that I what's the word, like resonate with. Like I believe that American leadership is good for the world. So, and not China, definitely not China. So yeah, things like that. So I like it's. I have to say that it's a little tough now to show my standpoint, because I know how American, like Trump supporters feel, like MAGA people feel. But at the same time, I have to think about my country as well. So it's difficult. But I think that in politics, what's important is that, at least like how I do my political works, is that I work my activities are based on, like, it's like issue based, like I work with liberals sometimes, actually oftentimes. Why? Because they care so much about human rights issues. And when they care about human rights issues, even though I do contribute in the human rights issues, but I'm doing that for my country. If I support human rights issues, then it weakens China and Russia. So that's beneficial for me and my husband too. So that's why we engage in human rights issues. But liberals, because of their ideology, they work on human rights issues. So as for that issue, we can work together, right? Like we don't care about the background. Like we know, like, oh, he's a leftist, oh, she's a leftist, and they are like, we've seen an email chain. It was forwarded somehow. But we've seen like, oh, Ishii, my husband, is a right wing, but we can still talk to him. And that sort of things. Like, oh, he's a right wing, but you can he can have a conversation with us or something like that. So that's super funny. But like that's just like that. Like we don't really care about our backgrounds, and we can work together. So that I have that way of thinking. So as for Trump, like as a person, I like Trump. Like he's at the bottom. I know that, like he's a really passionate, charismatic leader with records of success. Like he knows how to involve people and so on, and that's something that ordinary people cannot do. So it's easy to find faults in others and so on, but to me, rather like each person's what they're good at stand out to me, and I want to be on the same side with that sort of people. So I make efforts to, keep the friendship that I've built with you guys, and also the Trump side of Americans and so on, if you know what I mean. It's in politics, it's important to make friends. Sometimes you can't, because of the history. It's not easy, but like you at least like I know what I'm trying to do. My enemies are CCP, Chinese Communist Party, and also Putin. So yeah, of course, Putin. Your standpoints are different, but it's like a agree to disagree kind of thing, if you know what I mean. Yep. Thank you for listening. Oh, thank you for super chat. Thank you. Wait, I want to press the heart. Okay, thank you. Always thank you. That's a risk. Thank you for another super chat. That's the risk pushing Russia into China. Yeah. There's always the discussion. Like Abe tried to, Abe administration invested in Russia so much, and he had believed that, the same thing like our country cannot confront two fronts. I just rhymed. China and Russia, like we can't fight both at the same time. So Abe invested in Russia, and brother gave money, supported financially, like economically, like helped Russia, and in return, of course, we were all hoping that Putin would return, or at least discuss the return of our northern territories and so on. Of course, it didn't proceed, but that's how, he was trying to keep Putin close, so that it's not the ideal situation, but at least it's not the worst, right? So that's what's his compromise. He was really good at making compromises. Yeah, but then the war broke out. So after the war broke out, that's a different situation. And before he died too, like he said something like that, like, oh, like before the war, that's what you need to do. But after it has broken out, it's a different story, So it's hard to like choose your actions. In my opinion, like I'm not an expert on I am involved in human rights issues, but I'm not an expert on like Ukraine Russia relations and so on. So as for me, like my husband is probably an expert, but me personally, I can only analyze the verdict, like the results, like of course I work with the people I work with, and I of course support them, but at the same time, like I'm not in the place to judge and so on. Oh, thank you so much for super chat. Trump is closer to Japan than Russia or China's politics matters, though then world balance, then probable wars, then economics. Japan has been dormant militarily. Also the economic problems in the 1990s. So the stage is a little shorter for Japan. That's a little, I'm a little bit confused. But I do get the first point that Trump is closer to Japan than Russia or China. That's good. That's good to know. Well, I don't get the last part. The stage is a little shorter for Japan. Yeah. I feel like Japan has been like what's interesting is the Japanese people or Japan as a country, we always work like like the little guy behind the scenes, connecting each other, running around, like conveying messages and so on, because that's what we do on a non-governmental level of diplomacy. And also, I get a sense that our government is doing the same thing in the world. Yeah. The problem is Curtis Yarvin's idea. That's what's influencing Trump administration. Yeah, I hear a couple of names. Yeah. I know what you mean, and thanks Yoko and husband. Thank you for listening to me. I want to hear her opinion though. Oh, thank you for a super chat. Why do you think America maintaining global supremacy is good for the world? Why would be your second choice? Who would be your second choice? Japan? But not realistic. No, when you think about the size of each country, that's like America is the biggest, like by far. Other countries are just so much smaller. India is growing though, but would you like India as the world leader? Like I like India, of course, like I've always felt close to India, and I've had a Indian girl over when I was 11. Like she stayed at my parents' house for a week, and we did meet with other Indian and some like Asian kids, that were visiting there and so on. And I have experience of that sort of things, and always felt close. I've been to India, and I am friends with Indian people and so on. So I like the country is special, but like India is so huge that like you can't really categorize that country. The top of the top people are super duper intelligent and smart and powerful, rich and so on, and they do deserve all the good things. But at the same time, like when it comes to diplomacy, what's great about Western nations is that the rule of law and like you have the expectation in business and so on, like I don't know, like how to do work and so on. And it's not like when you talk to like Americans or Europeans and so on, you do feel some cultural barriers and differences, but not that much. But I just don't know about other countries. I don't know. It's but yeah. I mean, I'm a patriot though, so like I'm always wanting my country to prosper enough to be the leader of the world. I do have a little ambition, but I'm a realist as well, and yeah, just to look at the power of other countries, and Japan is actually shrinking right now. So, but my country is special though. Like we do have possibilities and everything. It's just we don't, because we have a culture of like a collectivism. We are just a group of people, and it's not like America where one charismatic person comes in and lead the whole nation. It doesn't work like that here. Everyone is the same here. We're all part of the one big family. So like we when somebody stands out, we're like go back. We attack those amazing people unless they are as amazing as, for example, like Shohei Ohtani or something like super, like if the person is extremely talented or just beyond our normal human level, then we can accept them. But so like that's not the case for us. Oh, super chat, thank you so much. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Yeah, I do understand that, but at the same time, Japan though, we have to be coherent. Like we can't just one day, for example, Russia. Oh, Russia is our enemy. Give us back the northern territories. We've been saying that all these years, and one day we can't just randomly change it. Oh, let's forget about that. Like we can't be like that. This is politics. So if it's business, maybe it does happen, but in politics, it's directly attached to human lives and so on. So like the so-called responsibility and so on matters. Yeah. I guess that it's in the Japanese blood that we don't like those who manipulate people. Russia and China always manipulate you. So like culturally too, I think that we just don't like them. Because we like those who make efforts. Like Americans, for example, like you guys have the American dream from the poverty to the top level. Like some people do that, right? And it's amazing. Like we love to see that efforts and so on. And really those who with abilities, like we admire that. But Chinese, those who are involved in political activities, they are so good at propaganda. Like we know a lot because we are involved. So like the trust issue is there as well, in my opinion. You're a big fan of India? Cool. World's largest democracy, and they fight China a lot. Yeah. Yeah, Indians are strong, yeah. And Bollywood, I really love Bollywood. Not Hollywood, but Bollywood. Indian movies are getting better and better. I don't have the patience to watch Indian films. I've only watched like one or two. I cried so much though. But those Bollywood music videos are amazing. It was a thing for me for a while. Yeah. I just wish that those expansion would just stop. China and India both have below replacement fertility now as well, so their populations are going to begin aging. Yeah, China is like, I don't know about India, but China, I hear that they are in a severe decline, and also their economy is not looking good at all. Yeah, when China falls though, I really want the regime to change in China, like I want the country to have democracy. At the same time, if that really happens, when my wish comes true, temporarily it will be hideous. There will be confusion, conflicts, probably some blood, shedding blood. And what will happen as a result, though, is that there will be refugees. So at least Japan is, we're not really looking at China's collapse, but we are looking at Taiwan's emergency. China wants to take Taiwan, and Japan is getting prepared for that. So we are preparing the system, like in order for our infrastructure, like airports and ports and so on, like to be able to be used for those emergency and also evacuation process. The residents in the southern islands of Japan, like how they evacuate and so on, they practice the procedure as well. And also our government is assuming the refugees as well. So we are getting prepared. So I'm not too worried about when confusion happens. Many things happen. Japan has the best animated shows in the world. It does, I guess. And that's why the Ghibli thing, ChatGPT, it spread so rapidly in the world. It's amazing that people enjoyed that. But Hayao Miyazaki, I guess he didn't like it. Yeah. Nigeria is exploding in population. Oh wow, that's kind of scary because I don't know the culture there though. Nigeria. No, my friend was from Kenya. Like, I went to a university in Osaka and where there were like so many foreign students, and I talked to people from many, many different countries. But I thought like Nigeria, maybe I knew somebody. But no, he was Kenyan. That Kenyan guy was cool. Like some people, it's interesting how just rich people in any country, they tend to, understand your culture well and they behave well. So you don't really feel the difference. I asked my Chinese friend how it's like living in China. He said he can't complain. He literally can't complain. That's so funny. Like, either he's satisfied or he cannot. He's not allowed to complain. That's interesting. Also, Bajra, thank you so much. What I mean is that Japan has been so conservative in relation to military might and FDI investments. After World War II, Japan is content not being the limelight. So China and Russia seem to take advantage. Oh, yes. The shorter global stage. I see. Yeah. Japan changed a lot in the past 80 years. I can't believe that it's like 80 years. Wow. The crazy part is at first, of course, like we Japanese people, both the right wings and left wings too, like we wanted to get independent basically, right? Like leftists here in Japan do not like America, and just like North Korea, for example, that's how leftists are. And they don't, because they leftists in Japan, because they dislike America's power taking over Japan, they are easy on China. Like they can tolerate China for some reason, right? So that, and that went, that became like that characteristic became stronger, right? And on the other hand, conservatives, like really conservative like myself, my type of people were talking about the like a sovereignty, of course, and getting truly independent. and therefore we were talking about writing our own constitution, having our own military and so on. But because the system has been going on for a long time, even though we kept saying like, oh, Japan needs to engage in the world politics, like we need to have our own military and protect our own and also help others if needed and so on. We, I guess, in you could say probably that we have been kind of spoiled by this situation. We are dependent on America. Like their presence in Japan, even though Japanese people were not pleasant about it, we are actually protected by it. Like there are bases, and that's how we are protected. And America's nuclear umbrella, we are protected by that because we have the treaty and so on. And we are so used to it that I guess that there's the desperation is something that we're not feeling anymore. And when we change the system, there are new problems that we get too. So I don't know, like, and there are like realistically speaking, it's because of the twisted education that began during the occupation period of the U.S. Our patriotic part of the textbooks were inked out, literally inked out, and we have press code. Our media couldn't speak ill of America or Soviet Union or China or whatsoever, and it just became anti-Japan, and the foundation was built like that, and we just Japanese people are Japanese people. We listen to the rules, so it's just carried on, and it's unrealistic. It's changing though because of the Ukraine situation. Like Japanese people look at Ukraine, what's happening in Ukraine. Ukraine basically had the same system as Japan, that they believe that they will be protected by other countries, but it's not happening. And like the memo thing was there, like they thought that they can protect themselves. They couldn't. They let go of nuclear weapons. So that's the same as Japan. Like we didn't have nuclear weapons, but like we don't have nuclear weapons. So that's the same premise. And also we can't, like Ukraine, even though Biden administration gave them weapons, they couldn't cross attack. Like they couldn't attack Russia directly. They were only able to defend themselves. That's the same as our constitution. We can kind of counterattack when we are attacked, but we can't just, go attack and so on. So we are finally able to counterattack, I think. But yeah, basically we are only allowed to defend ourselves. And Japanese people, when we look at Ukraine today, people are noticing that it doesn't work, right? Like that's not, you can't fight like that. So today the poll, if you take the polls and so on, it might be a little bit different, but still, like Japanese people are taught to believe that if we have military forces again as military forces, our self-defense forces are just a weaponized, like a militarized version of the police. It's the police, so they can't go into war, basically, right? And so, but if we officially have our military forces, people believe that we will go aggressive and go invade other countries or something. But that's the education here. That's something that the narrative that we are told to believe. So yeah. That's why it's difficult. wish I was good at explanation. I wish I knew better. By the way, the guy who stole from Shohei Ohtani was sentenced to almost 5 years in prison. Oh, that translator, what's his name? Ippei? Ippei Mizuhara. I don't think that he even had the qualification to be a translator. Did he have the... Was he certified? So, like, that guy is just weird. Do your best, Japan. Thank you. I want Japanese people to be more individualized. Really? Like, I want Japanese people to be unique, you know? Just express ourselves more, like, confidently. But, like, for example, like, YouTubers, for example, like, I'm on YouTube right now, but, like, the typical YouTuber type, you know, we have that type of people as well. And, like, that sort of culture, because this platform is American, you know, and it's about yourself, like you are the channel, right? And it's like basically like validation, like me, and my rights, right? Like my video, my rights, and so on. And it's like we have more lawsuits than before, I feel, on like lawsuits. We did have lawsuits before, but it's more like on a daily basis for us. Like I feel really close to, you know, defamation and like some like marriage problems or somebody attacking others like physically, and more lawsuits happening, and it's more about rights and rights and rights. And Japanese culture traditionally is more about taking different roles, you know, like each individual is different. We have our own standpoint, and we, however, we are forming this big society like a family, so we find what we are supposed to do to serve the public, to find our role. So like it's like taking a role instead of insisting our rights. And I feel though that because of the social media and so on, which I appreciate, of course, like the invention is amazing, and this is how we can talk. Like I can talk to you, and it's amazing. But at the same time, the byproduct is that like the problem, Western problems are getting imported here as well, because we are becoming more like the people that invented this type of technology, if you know what I mean, because that's how it's built based on the culture of the developers, if you know what I mean. So anyway. Oh, Sabacha, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on earlier today. Oh, thank you. It's always a pleasure to listen to your viewpoints. I look forward to your live streams. Thank you so much. I woke up early today. So, yeah, I'm gonna try to come like around this time, like earlier. Should be starting earlier, yeah. Next week, though, well, today's the 30th. Man, March is ending already. How did that happen? How did that happen? Next week I'll be here. The week after next week, I might not be able to do this. Not sure. I have no prescriptions for how Japanese people ought to be since I'm not Japanese, but it's a neat country. Thank you. Cultural output very strong. Yeah. Nico Nico. Oh yeah, Nico Nico is a Japanese platform. Nico Nico is like it's really reflecting our culture as well. Like when you watch Nico Nico, the like a YouTube-ish platform, but Japanese version. If you watch that, you see the comments floating by, right? Like you watch a video, like a comment, another comment, like over, it's layered over the top of the video you're watching, which is kind of get in the way. But basically that's like, to me, that's like looking at how others are feeling, and you are watching that to resonate with the person. Like it's there, so we amplify to join to amplify that comment and so on, and we all agitate each other like, yeah, right. Create a good space together. The atmosphere. Japan's culture is atmosphere. It's all about atmosphere. We create the space and atmosphere all together, commenting on the, even though it looks like YouTube, basically, like there's a video and there are comments, but it's because it's layered on the top of the video. You are basically co-creating the space with the other viewers. That's how I see. Because I feel connected when I look at that sort of videos. Like, yeah, I feel that too, like because mostly Japanese people have the same reaction. Like our education is good, like our morality and so on are similar, mostly. So when we watch those comments, we can usually relate and so on. So yeah. Anyway, Osubacha, thank you so much. Do you have plans for April Fool's Day? America is doing tariffs. What a good day to start. I think I saw the news. It's other countries will be very, very confused. That is funny. I don't know what to believe anymore. Oh, super chat, thank you so much. Another super chat. The American Bill of Rights is what the government can't do rather than what people can. Oh, I see. Thinking government gives rights leads to losing them. I see. That makes a perfect sense. I get it. Yeah. So interesting. That's the difference. I feel that like Japanese people like. I think I can't say this 100% because I'm just one person, but I have a feeling that our people like to be told what to do rather than deciding what to do and so on. The government here, we actually ask our government to decide. It's like, it's called like oe ishiki, like ue, like upper, yeah, upper, right? Just upper consciousness, if I may directly translate. Like, wait, is it? Let me ask ChatGPT. Because like, if I may say that to an English audience, difference to authority, top-down mindset, authoritarian mindset. A deep-seated difference to authority where people tend to accept decisions made by those in power without questioning them. That sounds bad. It reflects a cultural mindset in which the government or leadership is seen as inherently superior and responsible for guiding society. Usually, like, I guess it's in the East Asian culture that, like, the elderly are stronger, more powerful, more authoritarian, more the figures that we need to look up to. And also people like elite type of people, those who have have better wisdom or certification, qualification, and or teachers, professors, that sort of people with titles, you know, are Japanese people care so much about titles and social status and so on, and age as well. Yeah. So, but when I don't know, but I have a feeling that Americans are more about what you are actually capable of. But that's the impression. I don't know. Like, you guys do go to university, so I don't know. But upper, up. Confucianism. I don't know. It's just Asian culture. I think. Yoko number one. Yay, thank you. Sorry for missing a lot of comments. Let's see. How did the local election go? Any results? Oh yeah, we went to vote like last week. The governor election of our prefecture, Fukuoka. We went to vote at around 4:30 or 5, I think, and then we got home, and so it ends at 8, and at 8 we knew that the governor won again. Because all parties supported him, and only like 30 something percent of people, like residents, I mean, of course, Japanese people, what's the word, voted. So as it was as expected. Everything went as I expected. Is it incumbent? The guy that was already a governor won another term. And I knew that the percentage of the voting, it would be like 30 to 40%. It was correct. But yeah, he's not bad though. It's just that some money was spent wrongfully. By the way, this it's interesting that on the front page here, the article, like this column, is talking about social media and election, and they're talking about the election in South Korea. And just like Japan, you know, Japan is having problems too, but but in South Korea, I believe that the President Yoon watches YouTube. So yeah, they have this but they are crazier than Japan, you know. And well, what's the number? So super chat, you guys give me super chat, but in South Korea, let's see. This February, until February, in 3 months, there were, oh, they have, wait, no. Not this part. Oh, here. So January super chat in South Korea. There's a ranking of like the highest super chat ranking, and the top 100 channels. Out of the 100 channels, 58 were political channels. Isn't that crazy? YouTube. YouTube has many channels. And in South Korea, it's the out of the 100 channels, top super chat gifted channels, 58 are political channels. How? How? Because in Japan, it's like gaming or entertainment, that sort of things, or just general YouTuber and so on. Korean people are so interesting. They're so passionate. But what's interesting is that the professor in South Korea points out that because both rights, the conservatives and leftists attacked newspaper and so on, which those outlets that they don't agree with, because both sides attack the newspaper and so on, the old media, like legacy media, lost the credibility in the country, and that's why social media is their platform, like their resource. I mean, information sources. And now, though, but because they have misinformation, they have to catch those misinformation, deal with it legally, and that sounds like Japan, though. We do have misinformation here, and it's so tough to deal with that. If we get the Doge dividends, I will send it to my top 5 YouTube channels. Cool. Incubant. Yes. I'm looking at all the Japanese stuff I buy. They all say made in China. Yeah. A lot of things made in Japan are made in China, yes. I want Japanese products though. Like when I look at like made in Japan products, I get happy. But what's interesting though is that things were made in China because the labor, like the wage is cheap, right? But now China is growing, and because of that, the wage, the pay there is more expensive. So that's more cost, right? So that's why they have to move the factories and everything, like even without political influence, I guess, that they need to actually change the foundation of their business to cheaper labor. Yep. Anything else? I've been talking for what, an hour and a half? What? I talk a lot. I kind of have a low energy today, but I'm actually speaking a lot. I never realized South Korea is so small. It is. But it's interesting that South Korea keeps growing. I'm concerned about their population, but it's like they've prospered a lot. Like they keep changing for the better, like getting developing technology and so on, and also politically too. Like it's I guess that it's easier for me as a Japanese to open up to them today compared to like a decade ago when they were campaigning against Japan so much. Today they don't do that, and they focus on the threat of China and North Korea. So I, as a Japanese citizen, I can open up to them, and I can, I feel like, standing with them. So that's good. In a critical moment in history, I feel that we gain friends, Oh, you must go? No! South Korea died in a zombie apocalypse trying to Busan? What? It's interesting though that today when we look at the world, we see Trump, or we see Kim Jong Un, we see Putin, we see Xi Jinping, and so on. But these people, at least politically speaking, they'll be replaced, right? Eventually. And I have no idea what the world would look like with other leaders. America, though, you guys would have Vance, right? Sorry for my throat, like it's so dry. Vance is coming next. But what about China? And after Putin, Kim Jong-un? Oh. South Korea has better pop music than Japan. Yeah, I don't like J-pop, so. And I do think South Korean pop music is better too. Because it's more westernized. Like, I can tell that South Korean music is made for Westerners. Like they are making what sells well. I make music myself, so I know like how they do that. And Japanese music J-pop is so weird because when you look at it musically, it's it's like I don't know, like until like 80s and 90s the composers understood music, but after 2000 like there's like amateur type of people that don't have like music backgrounds can now play music. And it's so the composition is just so odd in my opinion. My piano teacher somehow doesn't care because she is so experienced and sophisticated, so that like she just wants something different than the actual musically correct music. Oh my gosh, it's Yoko Ono. I am followed by Yoko Ono, by the way, on X. Yoko following Yoko. She follows everyone, she's like love, I wish I could be like that. Like, I don't like Yoko Ono's like peaceful world mindset. I live in a different world, but still like the fact that she can spread love like that, following everyone and doesn't care about the problems that they have, it's like very mothery and something I can never do. I'm like, this guy's annoying, block. I'm that kind of person. So I don't know, she probably doesn't have any insecurity, so that's amazing. Marco Rubio would run, that's cool. Japanese people like Marco Rubio. I know that MAGA type of people don't like him, but people in America despise Yoko Ono and say she destroyed the Beatles. Yeah, I hear that often. I used to talk to a lot of musicians before, like before I came to a political field. So I heard a lot about that. I agree. But I believe Yoko Ono actually took John Lennon to Yasukuni Shrine, though. And then, what's it called? Imagine was created, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've heard a story like that. I'm not sure if it's correct, but like there's that rumor. So Yeah. We love you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. What to talk about? Let's see. Why did you decide to make the switch from music audience to political audience? Because I finally learned that China is actually trying to take Japan. I was watching the news and so on, to have common sense, but things didn't make sense to me. But finally, everything made sense when I was about 28 or so. Like, I finally grew up enough to understand the news. I know it's late, but just what it happens living in Japan. And I saw the Chinese people rioting inside China, like it was a protest, destroying Japanese malls and so on, in China, like Japanese brands like Eon or Toyota and so on, you know. But that didn't make sense to me because those workers are Chinese. It's just a Japanese brands, but Chinese workers. And why do they break their own stuff? And what's the anger, right? And it was about Senkaku Islands, where China has been trying to get, and Japan acquired that around that time, I think. I mean, like bought it officially, and things like that. And then like that sort of like looking at the news, regarding our territories, it just, I finally kind of got it. It just took time. My dad was trying to teach me history, the Japanese identity and how wrong the historical history education is in school and so on. My dad owns a lot of conservative books, and I kept saying like, get rid of those books because you will never read that again and so on. It's just collecting dust. And he sometimes buys the same book twice or three times too. So I'm like, what are you doing? Like just get rid of it. I was telling him that, but thank God he didn't. And I got to read a lot of his books. So then I realized like, like the identity, like a whole world collapsed in me, Like I had blindly believed everything I saw on the news or everything my teachers were saying, and one day I felt like I've been lied to. But basically in your language it's like red pilled. Like one day I just woke up like what the hell? What is like all my life, like those people lied to me, like that sort of upset emotions just came to me like one after another, and then I just got hooked on the internet and also my dad's book. And my dad knows a lot about history. He doesn't use the internet, but he's an old type. He's an old guy. So, but he's been reading like all his life, so he knows a lot of things, like how to think and so on. So like yeah. So I didn't know anybody but I just kept asking questions to my dad. He would answer, and then I got a hang of it. Like, oh, that's the reality. Like I finally got what he was trying to teach me all my life. He was nearly 3 decades. He didn't give up. So if any of you are dads, don't give up on your children. Because one day your kids will understand. Even Elon Musk's kid. What is she? I forget the name, but yeah. Reminds me of the video of Yoko Ono screaming. Yeah, there's a weird video. I mean not video. I've listened to an audio of John Lennon and Yoko Ono just saying their names. It's so weird, but artistic, I guess. Like it makes me feel like too much information. What project is next, Yoko? What event meeting are you doing next? I wish I could tell you. I might lose fans. I would say that, but yeah, things will happen. April is gonna be a busy month. Yeah. What do schools in Japan teach about Pearl Harbor bombing? Education must talk about it a lot. I don't actually remember that part. The part I remember is that Japan invaded into China or did bad things to Koreans or things like that. So it was not like, when it comes to at least my generation, I'm nearly 40, but my generation of people in my school, what I learned was not really about America. When it comes to the World War II, I learned that atomic bombs were dropped. There's no subject. There's no America did this and that. No. Atomic bomb was dropped. On another day, days later, another atomic bomb, just like the rain or something, like natural disaster, just dropped from above, And so we don't think about Americans much at all. And I remember reading comic books, they had a certain kind of comic books in the library, only educational things. And because it was comic books, we were reading with friends, right? And it would have a scene Americans after the war giving chocolate to little kids, give me chocolate. And then American soldiers give you chocolate and so on. That's what I remember from my days back then. And from the textbook or class and so on, I remember just reading about how Japan was atrocious and so on to China and South Korea, which when I look at it today, it's historically incorrect. There were some incidents or cases, small cases and so on, but not exaggerated. It's not the same as exaggerated propaganda by CCP or some pro-North Korean, South Koreans and so on. So yeah, I felt really deceived, on the exam, for example, you write the Nanking massacre, for example, Nanjing massacre. What's the number back then that they were saying, 300,000 people massacred or blah, blah, blah. Later, I found out, reading books and all the evidence, laid out by experts in Japan. I learned that it was all false. Even though Photoshop didn't exist back then, they were able to, you can basically cut and literally cut and paste, to the film and so on, and you can create photos. So things like that, and you can just track back where it originally is from, magazine, cut out of the magazine and so on, or movie films and so on. And I'm you have no idea, what I was writing on the exams, as answers were incorrect. I was lied to in school, and I got really furious. So I got into my curiosity. Just I'm I need to know. So I was I messaged my ex-boyfriend in America at the time. I'm sorry, dude, I was gonna follow you to America, but I can't. I have things to do here. We were talking about getting married and so on. But I'm dude, sorry, can't go. Yeah. What a time. So crazy how like life works out. Seriously. And also like when I was learning English, I never thought I would do things like this, you know. And politics, I used to think that maybe I studied like, you know, what I was poor at, like mathematics or some chemistry or whatever, like all these difficult things, you know, like I was poor at it, but I could maybe like if I study enough, maybe I would understand, but not politics because politics is so like unique, you know, the way that you think about things and it's attached to history and I used to think like there's no way I can understand that. But today I am here. So that's so interesting. But anyway, oh, thank you for your super chat. It's difficult to change core beliefs. Yeah. It's like, I don't know though how that happened. It's like, I guess I had a little open mind finally when I was growing older. My ex at the time flew back to America. So I had a little room in my heart, I guess. I was not occupied, you know. So then when I saw the news, I got to question. Questions are very important, I think. The what you take for granted, you just have a question like, and then curiosity skyrockets. Do you think Yoko Ono's love was even sincere? I hear John Lennon cheated on her, really? And she didn't care. Their love was more for selling records at that point. Really? Or maybe Yoko Ono's love was just big in Japan back in the day. Not today, but like a few, you know, like generations before us. Like often, especially if your family is good, you know, powerful family, then I guess that, or I don't know, like Japanese women traditionally, not today, because it's all about female rights today, but like back in the day, like Japanese women used to have like generous hearts, and like sometimes men do cheat, but their wives would just slap or something, and then I don't know, they just live with it, you know, because it's the family that they need to like nurture, like which they have to have together, and it's about the concept of the household, not individuals. It's the household, yeah, family. So, yeah. Yes, family. My name is Ishi, by the way. But my husband's name, Hidetoshi, is hard to say for foreign people. So, like non-Japanese speakers. So, people choose the easy way, right? Like family, like surname Ishii is easier for English speakers to say. So everyone is like Ishii, but I'm Ishii too. So it's kind of weird when that happens. Ishii desu. It's so interesting that today in Japan, our government is talking about, it's not, yeah, like the national diet members are talking about whether to let females keep their original name when they get married. But if you let that happen, then in the family, children would have to choose which name, you know, father or mother's name and so on. So it would destroy the family values. So conservatives are against it. But yeah. But now, so it's interesting though that like there are some women that complain about it, but I for myself, like growing up, I dreamed about having a different family name, like surname. It was, I was always like, every time I had a crush on somebody, some guy, I was like, oh, what if he's the guy for me? And I will see like a Yoko something. Like I will imagine in my head to have fun. So it was fun, but liberals don't know how to have fun, or socialist communists, they don't know how to have fun. Still waiting for the PO box. Have a bag of yen from my last visit. I'll use it for you. Cool. Oh yeah, I should do that. Man, I need to make money. I seriously need to make money. I don't know what to do. Should I buy some stocks for, what was that? Elon Musk bought his own company, right? Like where was it? I saw it somewhere. Musk. His AI company XAI? So XAI bought X. That's kind of confusing. That's interesting. But yeah. Anyway. I'm looking at the McDonald's ad again. This girl is so cute. Who is this girl? I don't know. But anyway, if no super chat, no more super chat, I think I should go. Just McDonald's in Japan. Looking neat. Look at her. She's so cute. Yeah, go. If you read this, you can jump to the Japanese one. Anyway. Okay. I should probably go, guys. Right. How you are selling your gold? Ooh. I haven't sold anything. Yeah. Do you have a beer box? No. I wish I did. I wonder how much it costs to have that. Maybe ChatGPT can tell me. PO box 日本で持つにはいくらかかる? Waiting for the answer. Oh, like you have to receive like every day. And also you have to be able to receive without delay. And it depends on the post office because there might be any space left. Usually it's 500 yen to 3,000 yen. That's not that bad. Oh, but to register, you have to pay for 5,000 yen. Interesting. I should look into that. Thank you, guys. Yep. Yeah. Sorry if I didn't get to take your comments. Like, I know that when Super Chat fly, I know that I skipped comments. But thank you. And thank you for enjoying my sakura, like cherry blossom videos. I want to go to the city while it's blooming. the packed, like busy park. There's one in the city which is famous, and I should go watch that when I have a chance. But yeah, the local ones, I'm gonna take pictures and videos again. I know that. But anyway, thank you so much. Have you ever thought of doing sponsorships, Yoko? Yeah, I was using Patreon. I still have the page. I'm not active there, but I have Patreon. And there's a membership thing on YouTube, and I need to think about what to do. But I don't know. I'm not. I don't want to stress myself too much, so it's hard to decide what to do. Yeah, it's you need to work. I know I need to work, but yeah. Nice video. Thanks, Yoko husband and chat. Thank you so much. Up, doing an ad for products or company in your videos. Oh, I see. I could. I could if I trust the products and so on. But yeah, I don't have a big audience, so yeah. Is your full-time job or just part-time? This is what I do. I'm a political activist. I should work more as a journalist, but I've been slacking. I do write sometimes for like a big media, but I've been just, it's been just tough, because the Trump administration is, you have to pick and choose what to talk about, honestly, because, yeah. Because each country, like patriotic people, in each country, it's different. So, yeah, I'm just looking at things right now. Okay. Anyway, I'll be online again. I'll be live streaming again next week. I'll run this time, so come back. Okay. She wants to hire me. I will promote things, yeah. I mean, if you guys don't mind, you giving content. No, I'm gonna use my time that I was using for gaming to walking outside and so on. I'm heavily concerned about my own health, so yeah. So you'll be seeing me earlier than usual. Okay, at least that's the direction I'm going. So anyway, thank you guys. Let's talk again next week. Okay. Thank you for your comments, guys. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Okay. It's hard to say bye, but I have to. Okay? Thank you. I'm waving so big that you can see from your house. Merch. Okay. Thank you for your ideas. I appreciate it. I should look into that. Okay. Okay. Good night. Bye bye.